So our story kicks off with Kanata, who clearly skipped the "don't date your stalker" life advice. She stabs him, then cranks her sword up with lightning like she's cosplaying Pikachu, and boom, game over. Except not. He wakes up in a cave. In a cave. Not in heaven. Not in some epic kingdom as the chosen one. Nope, he's respawned as a goblin. Talk about the worst character reroll in history. An elder goblin named Gabu hands him food and gives him a new name, Rue. He takes one look at himself, realizes he's green and ugly, and just cries. Honestly, I would too. Hard to believe now, but this green crybaby, he will evolve. Later, he'll be leading armies, raising his own kids, and rule with ruthless power. I find Rue's journey amazing because what starts small here grows into something unbelievable. Back to the video now. 3 days later, his body matures because goblins apparently speedrun puberty. Rue is already matured, and Gabu feeds the kids, but with a Last Supper speech. Translation: go learn to hunt or starve. Rue heads outside and it's a whole new world. Strange creatures everywhere, nothing like Earth. He meets another goblin, Kichi, and they buddy up for survival mode. Their first prey? A horned rabbit. Kichi goes full sprinter, Rue sets up an ambush, and together, they kill it. Kichi tries to hog the whole thing, but Rue isn't having it. He beats him up and gives a goblin TED Talk on sharing 101. Rue pockets the rabbit's horn, thinking weapon upgrade, when suddenly a notification pops up like he just unlocked an Xbox achievement. He's confused, but hey, food is food. They rinse and repeat. Another rabbit, another horn, another mysterious notification. Then, surprise. The system tells Rue he's learned the escape ability. He realizes he still has his past life's rare cheat skill Absorption. Basically, whatever he eats, he inherits. Forget CrossFit Rue's training plan is just eat monsters and get swollen. Back at the cave, they meet Mio. She thinks they're amazing for killing rabbits, which Rue finds embarrassing, until she casually drops that she's killed goblins before. She immediately flirts with him, and he's like, cool, join tomorrow's hunt. But nature says nope. It rains, hunt cancelled. Rue pokes around storage and finds something dark, human girls being used for goblin breeding. He ignores it and instead grabs some ore to forge a weapon. My man has his priorities straight. Gabu notices how fast he's improving, then teaches him how to check his stats by tapping his head. Rue does, and boom, status screen unlocked. Gabu is still dropping wisdom. Goblins can evolve at level 100 into hobgoblins, but most croak before getting there because they age like bananas. He even shows Rue his own level 86. Rue now knows what he's aiming for. The next hunt goes smooth. Together they take down monsters, including a snake. Rue eats it and gains new abilities. Kichi, meanwhile, wants to eat the snake head like it's a crunchy snack, but Rue shuts him down. It's poisonous, idiot. Days pass, more hunts. Eventually, they wander into a cave and get swarmed by bats. Kichi blocks with his shield. Rue whips out his evil eye skill and the bats freeze in place, giving him the perfect opening to cut them down. The squad eats the bats. Rue gains more powers. But they're not alone. A group of starving goblins are watching them, and judging by the look, they're not here to cheer. One night, Rue's asleep when his search ability kicks in. Turns out his own goblin buddies were creeping up on him. Definitely a very genius idea. Rue wakes up, beats them down, but oops, he accidentally stabs one. The guy drops instantly because Rue's weapon is coated in poison. He swears it was an accident, says he still can't control his skills. The others back off, spooked. And Mio, the loyal queen that she is, chokes one out herself. That's her way of saying, try to kill Rue again, and I'll end you. Later, an orc strolls through the woods and stumbles into Rue's squad. Bad day to be him. Mio hurls a rock that snaps his finger, Kichi smashes his leg, and Rue finishes him off. They eat the body because of course they do, and Rue picks up new abilities. He notices the others are full, so he suggests bringing food back for the rest of the goblins. They agree, and when they hand it over, the cave goblins are thankful. Rue can't help wondering why he even did it. In his past life, he wasn't exactly generous. That night, Rue is trying to sleep when the system rudely pops up like Windows Update. Do you want to evolve? Rue, half asleep, just clicks yes like we accept terms and conditions without reading. The next morning, he sees his reflection and freezes. His new form almost looks like his old human self. Kichi has transformed too, and Mio can't stop staring, saying they look incredible. Gabu's stunned. These two ranked up in just 2 weeks. Kichi, hyped about his new body, challenges Rue to a fight. Out in the woods, they go at it. Kichi lands a good hit and thinks he's got it, but Rue counters with speed and drops him. Kichi admits defeat, saying Ru's just too strong. Ru corrects him, speed won him the fight, not raw strength. The rivalry is starting, but the respect is still there. Suddenly, a wolf howl cuts through the forest. In the field, a whole pack is tearing through monsters, but Ru's team decides this is the perfect test for their new powers. Mio fires a poisoned bolt into the pack leader, sending the wolves into chaos. Ru and Kichi charge in, cutting them down with brutal efficiency. The leader struggles back up, ready for round 2, but collapses from the poison. Ru consumes him and unlocks a new skill, leadership. Yep, Ru just unlocked the Goblin CEO perk. He puts it to work immediately. Back at the cave, he orders the goblins to eat the wolves, then tells them they'll need to catch the same amount on their own next time. The others admit they aren't strong enough yet and beg Ru to teach them. He agrees, promising to show them how to hunt. They call him amazing, but Ru tells them to get up. They're comrades, not followers. His words strike them deep, and for the first time, the goblins decide they'll follow him willingly. But the vibe takes a dark turn. A few days later, they find the captive human girls have taken their own lives. Ru holds a memorial for them, realizing they must have lost all hope. For once, the cave goes quiet. Ru is in full sensei mode now, training goblins like it's boot camp. And in between drills, he's been munching monsters non-stop. The result? A laundry list of abilities stacked so high, he's practically a walking patch update. One day, he spots a group approaching and gears up for a fight, but Gavu steps in, telling him these aren't enemies, they're the older generation returning. They've even dragged humans along, clearly planning to use them as breeding stock. Ru isn't having it. He steps up to their leader, Ken, and demands custody of the humans. Ken, a pompous jerk, laughs him off, calling him a newborn. Suddenly, everyone's ready to throw hands. Before Goblin Civil War kicks off, Sato and Saya cut in, telling them to cool it. Nobody wants Goblin on Goblin Civil War. Sato proposes a 1v1 between Ken and Ru, no weapons, winner becomes village leader. They agree, and the fight lasts all of about 5 seconds. Ru drops Ken instantly. He explains that his strings don't count as weapons, they're part of his body. And with that loophole, he claims leadership of the village. Ken's men hate it, but they can't argue with the result. Ru puts the humans in storage, promising they're safe. He's banned any goblin from touching them. He even vows to return them to a human village someday. A girl named Rebellia asks what he wants in return. Ru's answer is simple: share your knowledge. They explain they were part of a traveling business, but before they can say more, Ken's men ambush. They kill the human guards and drag the women off. Ru leaves them space to grieve, showing restraint instead of revenge, at least for now. 2 days later, Ru brings food and notices something different. Humans don't evolve like goblins, but they do have jobs that make each one unique. He already knows who's who. Rebellia is a rookie warrior. The thought crosses his mind. Maybe she should train with the goblins. Meanwhile, training continues, but Ken's men are absolute garbage at it. Ru trash talks them, they snap, so he beats them down and reminds everyone he's the boss. Later that night, Ru senses danger again. He finds Ken and his crew about to assault the humans. Ru steps in, furious, reminding them the humans are untouchable. Ken refuses, so Ru crushes him. He reassures the humans, then orders Neil and Kichi to drag Ken and his men outside. Then he summons the whole village to watch what comes next. Everyone gathers as Ru publicly tortures Ken, beating him into a bloody mess. His message is clear: this is what happens when you break his rules. By morning, Ken is dead, bled out overnight. His men remain tied down, a warning to the rest. Moving on, Ru's crew takes on a tri-horned beast. Its scales are tough as armor, but Ru restrains it and lands the killing blow. They feast. Ru gains new skills, including a devastating triple strike. That night, Rebellia quietly slips in to sleep beside him. Ru figures she's still traumatized, so he lets her. But when he wakes, Mio's also curled up on the other side, both girls pinning his arms. Ru may be overpowered, but in that moment, his deadliest enemy is circulation loss. Training camp continues, and Ru's basically running Goblin Academy now. And we finally meet Ru's new right hand, Gobi. She's just evolved into a hobgoblin, and her big job? Teaching goblins how to handle chores. Not exactly glamorous, but someone's got to manage laundry duty. Neo captains the ranged unit, Kichi's gunning for control of the heavy fighters, and Sato takes command of the light armored crew. Meanwhile, Sei the lone mage has no squad. Just her, Hogwarts dropout style. With everyone occupied, Ru leaves them to it and heads into the forest. He finds another Trihorn and tests his new spell, one shot, instant kill. Confidence skyrockets. Feeling overconfident, he keeps wandering alone until he notices a bloody trail. Gabu once warned him about the red bear lurking out here, but Rue, being Rue, decides, yeah, let's follow the obvious horror movie setup. The trail ends at a dead Trihorn. Its armor-like scales were ripped apart, which means only something absurdly strong could have done this. And then the ground rumbles, and sure enough, the red bear shows up, giant, pissed, and radiating boss fight energy. Rue thinks about running, but greed kicks in. Imagine the skills he'd gain if he won. So he charges. His first spell gets blocked by the bear's hand, and Rue realizes it isn't just brute force, it's smart. Instinct sharp. Every attack Rue throws bounces off its hide. He tries strings to hold it down, but it snaps free and breathes fire, torching the forest. Rue vanishes into the smoke and hides, using healing magic to patch himself up. He knows the only way out is to go all in. He rushes again, shield raised, and drives his blade into the bear's mouth mid-flame. It works, but the beast thrashes him into a tree. He's bleeding, broken, and knows his sword jammed in the bear's mouth means no more fire. One shot left. Rue gambles everything. He dives in for the final strike, but the bear slashes, chopping off his arm. In the chaos, Rue still manages to land the killing blow. The monster falls. Rue's body, though, is ruined. Barely clinging to life, he bites into the bear's hand, absorbing its monstrous strength. And then, on the brink of death, the system dings. Max level reached. New option unlocked, evolve into an ogre. Rue accepts. Power floods back, his wounds stabilize, and he devours the bear's head, stacking even more skills. He notices his weapon feels smaller in his grip. It's not shrinking, he's just massive now. An ogre. When Rue limps back to the village, the goblins panic. Big scary ogre must be an enemy. He announces himself, but nobody believes it until Mio recognizes him. Her relief turns into anger. She kicks him, only to hurt herself on his new body. She admits she was terrified for him and asks about his missing arm. Rue explains what went down with the red bear. The entire village is stunned. That bear was supposed to be the wood's apex predator, and Rue just soloed it. Now they're bombarding him with questions while he's just happy to still be alive. Mio and Rebellia immediately start orbiting him like he's the hottest thing since magic fireballs. The other girls are stunned at first, but eventually realize, yep, that's still Rue. Just bigger, stronger, and way scarier. Emery checks out Rue's beat-up weapon and casually points out it's on its last legs. She then reveals she forged him a brand new knife from Spirit Stone. Rue's thrilled. Finally, an upgrade. But Mio and Rebellia instantly get jealous. Apparently, weapon gifts count as love letters around here. Later, Rue chats with the twins and admires how adaptable they are. In his head, he's already thinking they'd make good wives. Rebellia shuts that thought down fast with a punch. Next, he checks in with Spinel the alchemist, only to find out she brewed poison. She looks guilty, but admits it was for self-defense before realizing Rue could be trusted. Rue brushes it off, but suddenly feels a surge of killing intent. Training takes a turn too. Rue can't spar with the others anymore. His strength is too much. A light jab from him leaves them half dead, and poor Kichi's armor is nearly destroyed. Kichi takes it hard and runs off to train on his own like an anime side character desperate for a comeback arc. Sato and Mio start bonding while Gobi sticks to mining spirit stones. Rue spends his time with Sei, grateful he ate a slime since it lets him mimic an arm of sorts. The next day, Gobi rushes in carrying an injured spirit. Rue heals it, and the spirit introduces herself as Latana. She thanks them, explaining she was attacked by humans after the gem on her head, worth 1 billion gold. She reveals her master was a legendary magician who left her to guard his secret treasure room filled with legendary items. Humans want it, but her master despised them. She'd rather give the treasure to Rue than see humans take it. Gobi's unsure, but Rue decides to investigate. Rebellia voices concern, yet Rue assures her he won't slaughter the humans if he can talk them down. So Rue and Gobi head to a mining hole that leads right into the treasure chamber. He tells Gobi to stay hidden and confronts the adventurers alone. They freak at the sight of an ogre. One assassin rushes in. Rue blocks him effortlessly. Rue warns them to leave, but they ignore him, thinking their fancy job titles and levels will carry the fight. Wrong. Their moves are basic, predictable, and boring. Then a lightning spell slams into Rue. They think they've got him, except it doesn't even scratch. Now he's pissed, and in true Rue fashion, he eats all of them. Adventurers, gone. By doing so, Absorption kicks in, and suddenly, he knows all their jobs. He also picks up a magic item bag and a concealment ring, and from devouring them, he gains a dimensional item box ability. Latana then guides Rue and Gobi to her master, Velvet. She thanks them but fades away, leaving behind her gem. Rue of course eats it and gains the Golden Rule ability. Thanks to the item box skill, Rue hauls out the treasure trove. Still, he feels bad leaving Velvet's body there, so he cremated it. Out of the ashes drops a glove. He tries it on, only for it to fuse with him. Turns out it's a legendary item, granting him even more insane abilities. Now it feels like a natural part of him, practically his own hand. Rue flexes his new hand, realizing it feels as natural as the one he lost. Then he inspects the treasure trove. Every single item is absurdly powerful. Rue doesn't hog everything. He shares part of the treasure with the other hobgoblins, though he keeps 2 of the legendary items for himself. Fair. Those things are absurdly rare. With the new gear and training, the whole village keeps leveling, while Rue continues exploring deeper into the forest. Out there, he devours a golden spider and a crystal deer, picking up their skills. Then he stumbles on a massive tree and meets a dryad. Legends say dryads tempt men, drain them, and use them as nutrition. She slinks up to him, he tries to resist, but nah, he folds. Still, instead of getting eaten alive, he gets the dryad's blessing. She helps him back, and Rue chalks it up as another weird victory. Back at camp though, the mood shifts. Suddenly, all the girls are ignoring him. Rue's confused, asks Spinel what's going on. She points at the obvious kiss marks on his neck, and Rue instantly remembers the dryad. Before he can think of a defense, Spinel leans in and kisses him, confessing her own feelings. Mio walks in, furious, only to cling to him and demand her own kiss. Then, the rest of the girls pile on like it's Black Friday at a dating sim sale. Rue's harem just went full chaos mode. The next day, his upgraded search skill senses new arrivals. He heads out and finds elves. Their leader sneers at the goblins, calling them savages, then offers a deal: take care of the humans threatening the woods, and they'll reward them. Gabu thinks it's generous. Rue doesn't. He flat out refuses, saying he doesn't care what happens to elves because he knows they're not sincere. The elves bristle, preparing to fight, but Rue drops his aura like a nuke, dropping the bravado instantly. He points out the archers hiding around him and threatens to kill their leader on the spot if he doesn't call them off. Terrified, the elf obeys. Rue tells them the real reason he refused. He hated their condescending tone. Still, he vows to protect the forest, because it's his home too. To make sure they get the message, he summons countless spears from the air, surrounding them until they retreat. Later, Rue hunts down a gray slime and eats its core. New skill unlocked: auto-replication. Basically, he can make mini-clones out of his blood to spy on things. Creepy? Yes. Useful? Also yes, realizing he can spy through it. He secretly puts his blood on the girls' clothes, so he can always keep an eye on them for protection. A few days later, the elves come back. Their leader orders an attack, but Rue roars, shaking the ground and stunning them. His webs bind them before they can move. He demands to know why they came back, and the leader admits it's for revenge. His own companions shame him, saying they tried to stop him. Rue says fine, the leader dies, but he gives the others a chance to live through mock battles against the goblins. The results? 6 elves are defeated quickly, and Rue eats them, adding their skills to his arsenal. The rest, he declares prisoners. Gabu is thrilled. Most are women, already thinking of abusing them, but Rue cuts him off immediately. They're off limits. The elf leader starts groveling for his life, but Rue's not running a mercy program. He executes him and adds him to the menu. Business as usual. Meanwhile, Kichi pulls off his own glow-up. He kills a bear, maxes his level, and evolves. When he returns to the cave, everyone's stunned, but Rue's proud. Kichi hasn't just evolved, he's become a special variant, blessed by the demigods. Feeling bold, Kichi challenges Rue, convinced he can finally match him. The fight is brutal, and Rue actually struggles, but in the end, he wins. He still has the edge in combat skill, but he admits Kichi's power is real. For the first time, Rue recognizes him as a true rival. Later, Rue returns to the cave and encounters a shadowy figure offering him a gift. Just as quickly, he wakes up, thinking it was only a dream. Kichi's evolution sparks a chain reaction. Other goblins start evolving, and Spinel tests their aptitudes. One has the makings of a mage. Another, a hobgoblin named G, shows cleric potential. Even Sai transforms, evolving into a half-spell lord. She's confused by strange markings on her body, but Rue soon sees why. They head outside for testing, and C goes full fireworks, show spamming fireballs everywhere, blowing up the field. She brags it was only a basic spell, but Rue shuts her down with a, "Yeah, I've seen enough." She hasn't even hit her final form yet. She can still evolve into a full spell lord. To mark her growth, she's equipped with new gear. Rue takes pride seeing the whole village leveling up. He notes his generation is stronger than the last, probably because they were raised differently. More training, less chaos. The next day, that older generation confronts him, unhappy with his leadership. They want to leave. Rue lets them. They're shocked he isn't stopping them, but Rue reminds them they're free. As a parting gift, he gives them a mithril knife, even cutting himself with it to prove its sharpness. They leave, baffled at how chill he is about it. Soon after, Rue finds an orc with a dead human. He senses something interesting about the human's ability, so he kills the orc and eats the man's body, acquires the man's unique skill, Monster Tamer. Back at the cave, Spinel hands him a new drink. It's beer. Rue is impressed. Yet another milestone for the Goblin settlement. The whole village gathers for a feast. Rue explains some goblins left, asks if anyone else wants to bail. No one does. They're happy here. They drink together as a village. Afterward, Rue uses his blood to forge magical earrings that act like radios. The goblins are stunned when they realize they actually function. Not bad for goblin-made tech. Gobi then kills a Trihorn in one strike, but Rue notices it's still alive. He tries out his new human skill, Monster Tamer. The beast rises again, now loyal to the goblins. Rue immediately sees the potential tamed monsters as allies for the village. Elsewhere, Rebelia proves herself, killing 3 kobolds in combat. She suddenly feels off and discovers she's unlocked a new class, Noir Soldier. It grants her faster leveling, but comes with a catch. She needs to consume monsters to survive. Soon after, she warns Rue that humans have entered the woods. Before they can act, a wave of kobolds bursts into the cave, hasted by a swarm of skeletons. Rue orders his goblins to hold the line, but the weapons barely scratch the undead. He spots the problem, a hidden necromancer spawning them. Sato struggles, but when she accidentally strikes one with her scabbard, the skeleton crumbles. Rue realizes their weakness, blood. Rue orders everyone to drop weapons and start smashing them with bare fist. Then he tells them to back off, boasting he only needs 10 seconds to end this. In 7 seconds, he obliterates the horde, smashes the leader, and devours it for new abilities. The kobolds, grateful, bow and call him master. They explain they accidentally broke into a treasury, waking its guardian, which unleashed the skeletons. Rue reminds them goblins have killed kobolds before, but they don't care. They admit they're weaker, and they'll accept whatever fate Rue gives them. Instead, he chooses to help them recover. His village is starting to look more like a coalition. Out hunting with Kichi, Rue spots a suspicious group of humans. They tail them, eavesdrop, and overhear the plan, kidnap the elf chief's daughter. Worse, it was an inside job. An elf leaked the info. That night, Rue waits along the path. And soon enough, the chief's daughter passes through. The ambush begins. Humans cut down the elf guards and move to seize the chief's daughter. Before they can, Rue steps in and dismantles the attackers with ease. One unlucky survivor gets interrogated. Rue learns that the humans plan to launch a full assault in about 20 days. The elf girl wakes up in shock, terrified of the towering ogre looming over her. She even accuses him of wanting to take advantage of her. Rue talks her down, but when she asks why he didn't save her guards, he gives it to her straight. Those deaths weren't his problem. Besides, there's a traitor among her own kind. She breaks down in tears, and Rue tells her to rest for the night. Gabu, of course, looks far too interested in the situation. The next morning, Rue escorts her back. On the way, he notices her wings. She explains that she's a high elf. As they approach her village, Rue immediately senses dozens of archers drawing down on him, mithril arrows aimed right at his heart. The girl stops them, declaring Rue her savior and the weapons lower. Inside, Rue meets the chief. He makes it clear he didn't save the girl out of kindness. The chief, testing him, offers a reward. Rue's curious. What's a daughter worth? Turns out, plenty. The chief gives him an ancient-level artifact. Rue accepts gladly, then offers up intel about the human's movements. That earns him even more rare items. But when the chief asks about his missing elite unit, Rue plays dumb. Before they leave, the elves even gift alcohol and medicine. Rue, in turn, promises aid if they're ever in real danger. Back in the cave, more evolutions shake the village. Mio transforms into a Dampire variant. With the blessing of the god of ice, she can conjure massive waves of frost, and her eyes now carry a dangerous charm capable of turning enemies against each other. Gobi evolves into a half-earth lord, able to reshape terrain, detect ores, and wield immense strength. Sato becomes a half-blood lord, learning to control blood itself and weaponize it. Rue looks around, realizing he has a full roster of heavy hitters now. Preparing for war, Rue distributes his blood-forged communication earrings to the kobolds. The elves refuse at first. It's taboo for them to decorate their ears, but Rue spends the night persuading them. One way or another, everyone will be linked. He ramps up training next. Using a new necromancy skill, he summons a skeleton, but not just any skeleton. A black armored one, rare and far stronger than the average. The elves train against it, and Rue quickly discovers he can summon a variety of undead. The only flaw, they crumble in sunlight. Even so, it's another weapon in his growing arsenal. The village is booming over 100 strong now, but Rue knows the kobolds are the weakest link, so he personally drags them out for extra training. While he's at it, he snags more wolf familiars, padding out his forces. That night, Rue notices his old halberd, the same one from the Red Bear fight, has changed shape. Emery's handiwork. She reforged it with elf materials, upgrading it into something far deadlier. Rue is impressed, and even more so when he realizes Emery herself has ranked up into an elemental smith. Later, Kichi approaches Rue with a personal problem. He likes Gobi but doesn't know how to confess. Rue calls it obvious and tells him to stop hesitating, just say it. That night, Kichi does, and by the next day, he's beaming with new strength. Turns out, Gobi had already been seeking Mio's advice, so Rue knew it would work out. Hunting continues, and Rue racks up more abilities. He tests one called Exoskeleton, forming a living suit of armor with built-in healing and shock absorption. Problem is, it eats his clothes in the process, leaving him completely naked. The armor system is powerful, but way too extra. Rue reconfigures it with other materials and gains insect wings, though flying proves awkward. Meanwhile, Emery develops a rapid-fire crossbow, and Spinel crafts a new tool using black skeleton parts. Progress everywhere. Then elves arrive from the chief, warning that humans have begun their attack. They offer rich rewards if Rue helps. Rue agrees, but only if his forces operate freely. To seal the deal, he hands them an alpha communication device for their chief. Excitement spreads through the camp. Rue gathers everyone and declares they're now a mercenary group. C asks for a name. Rue answers, Parabellum, prepare for war. The goblins erupt in cheers. At dawn, Rue leads Parabellum against a human encampment. A shimmering barrier blocks their approach, but C warns it can be broken. Rue steps forward and, with one shot from his gauntlet, shatters it. Panic spreads among the humans. Gobi slams the earth, trapping them in stone walls, while Se sets the camp ablaze with fire magic. Rue floods the battlefield with skeletons. The humans rally behind their commander, a knight named Therese. She immediately spots Rue as the summoner and charges. Her mages bombard him with projectiles to clear her path, and she casts a speed spell that turns her into a blur. Rue is impressed. She's a real warrior, but when she reaches him, one casual blow from Rue sends her flying. He offers her a place in his group, recognizing her talent. She refuses, vowing never to be taken alive. Rue orders his companions to capture the strong and call the weak. Mio unleashes her evil eye, forcing enemy soldiers to slaughter each other. Sato bends blood into countless blades, tearing through the ranks. The field is painted red. Therese fights on, stabbing Rue with everything she has, but not even her blade can pierce his skin. A desperate mage summons a dragon, urging her to escape. Se warns that if the dragon's attack lands, even Rue might die. Therese, ready to die herself, pushes forward, but Rue shoves her clear, refusing to let her sacrifice herself. He throws up a barrier by fusing multiple elements, neutralizing the dragon's strike. Even Se is awed. Therese is left stunned, unable to comprehend his strength. Afterward, Rue returns to the elves, celebrating victory with their chief. The chief thanks him and rewards him. Rue also checks on his human captives. To their shock, he heals them with the elf medicine he was gifted. Therese still doesn't trust him, suspecting he'll use them for breeding. Rue fits them with enchanted ear cuffs that prevent lying, then extracts crucial intelligence. He reports back to the elf chief using the comms device. The humans, he explains, are splitting their forces, scattering them through the forest. The chief, true to his word, supplies Rue with more alcohol. With intel secured, Rue moves to intercept. Soon, hundreds of human soldiers march through the woods. Rue signals the attack. His forces unleash an avalanche of boulders from the cliffs above, crushing hundreds in an instant. Rue's traps spring shut, and goblins tear through the humans, but their leader rallies the survivors, ordering them to build a stone wall. Behind the barrier, mages counterattack with magic, and for once, Rue admits they're making him work for it. This commander isn't some throwaway grunt, so Rue changes tactics. He sends Kichi to capture the leader. Kichi and his squad charge, cutting through the mage's defense, and the battlefield turns into a slaughter. Kichi duels the commander, who fights hard but still gets taken down. With their leader captured, The human army collapses. In the prison camp, the captured humans whisper about their grim future. Their commander, Krobak, speaks up, but the others dismiss him. To them, he's just a commoner, nothing worth listening to. Rue sits him down for interrogation. Why invade the forest? Krobak answers, their princess is dying from an incurable disease, and the humans believe the elves' secret medicine might save her. Rue doesn't buy the noble cause. He figures it's less about compassion and more about politics. She's engaged to an emperor, after all. Meanwhile, Gobi stumbles on a hot spring. Rue builds a bath, giving the whole village a rare moment of relaxation. But the next day, it's back to training, even for the prisoners. Rue throws them into mock battles, pushing them to fight goblins and skeletons alike. Krobak quickly grows frustrated. He dismisses the skeletons as too weak and challenges Rue directly. Rue obliges, buffs him to ensure survival, then slams him into the dirt effortlessly. Still, he heals him after. Kichi jumps in next, sparring with Rue until both are bruised and breathless. The village watches, impressed by the clash of warriors. Later, Krobak opens up. He grew up among demi-humans, and he respects Rue's ability to unite such a diverse village. He swears loyalty. Rue accepts and assigns him to train Rebellia, knowing she needs to grow stronger. Rue later meets the elf chief, reporting 3 wounded prisoners. The chief agrees to take them. Rue presses about the secret medicine. The chief admits he already gave it to Rue, warning him never to let humans have it. Curious, Rue tests it and gains a skill called Medicine Blood. A drop of his blood heals wounds instantly, borderline overpowered. He tries it on a prisoner, who recovers in seconds. That night, far from the village, a human commander sips tea until Rue's spear tears through his chest. The weapon then impales soldiers around him, and Rue's forces sweep in to finish the job. The next day, Rue reports to the elf chief. The chief wants the war ended, so he dispatches his elite unit to back Rue. On the way home, Therese approaches Rue. She pledges loyalty but begs him to share the medicine with humans, to save her princess. Rue considers it. Giving it away could earn him favor with the kingdom, but religion complicates things. 5 great gods rule this world, each blessing chosen mortals with extraordinary power. Rue himself holds the blessings of the gods of Demis and Origin. If he hands the medicine over, it could ignite a holy conflict. Still, he tells Therese he'll think about it. Soon, Rue and his forces scout the human base. They're badly outnumbered. Worse, he learns about the Rugalordian 8 warriors blessed by the gods themselves, each capable of empowering allies. To Rue, they're not just enemies, they're dinner. Before dawn, he summons his skeleton army. Mio questions him. It's almost sunrise, the undead will burn away. But Rue reveals his plan. He's coated them in slime, shielding them from sunlight. The assault begins, skeletons crash into the camp, and chaos erupts. Rue follows, gathering blood and water from the battlefield and unleashing a tidal wave that wipes out entire squads in a single strike. And then, from the wreckage, a boy steps forward. Philip, one of the Rugalordian. His title, Bondbug. He admits he hates the name, makes him sound like an insect. Rue just stares, because nickname or not, this is a god-blessed warrior standing in his way. Philip finally shows his hand, literally. His eyes glow with the blessing of the god of demonic insects, and Rue instantly feels the crushing aura. Philip explains his power, not zombies, not necromancy, but parasites. He controls soldiers like puppets, transforming them into insect hybrids that swarm Rue from all sides. Rue cuts them down, but Philip adapts, directing their movements like a hive mind. The coordination is brutal, and even Rue starts taking hits, though regeneration keeps him from falling. Philip decides it's time for his ace. From the ground rises a massive centipede, his pet, the kind of monster that's classified as a natural disaster. Its venom paralyzes Rue in seconds. He collapses, unconscious, and Philip orders the beast to complete its mission. But Rue doesn't stay down. He disappears, then reappears with a surprise counterattack that Philip barely dodges. The knight wonders how Rue survived, suspecting some kind of fake corpse trick. Before he can unleash his first secret weapon, Rue smashes the vial meant to power it. Philip curses his rudeness, sprouting writhing tentacles as he consumes corpses, forming a grotesque armor. Rue answers in kind, summoning his own insect exoskeleton, mocking Philip by saying they're evenly matched. The clash is devastating. Rue barrels through Philip's armor, sending him crashing into the dirt. Above, his friends finish off the human army, but Mio senses danger and rushes toward him. Philip, beaten and desperate, abandons his armor and flees. Rue chases, but the armor slows him down, and by the time he tears it apart, Philip is gone. Back at camp, Rue reveals he had already sent a replicant ahead to shadow the human leadership. The decoy discovers the kingdom's prince, who wants to end the war and save his princess. Rue hands him the elf's secret medicine, calculating that sparing him will prevent retaliation. The prince accepts, and Rue orders the soldiers to spread the word that they already got what they came for. In the forest, Gobi collapses a cliff to build a defensive wall while Rue tends to the wounded. When a couple of humans stumble across him, expecting death, Rue spares them, declaring the war finished. Still, 30 of his own are gone. Rue holds a funeral, burning the bodies to prevent them turning into undead. His people cry. He swears to do whatever it takes to keep them alive. The aftermath brings evolution. Chi becomes a half-saint lord, her healing bolstered with a shield tough enough to block Rue's blows. Gofu turns into a ghoul after constantly devouring zombies, something even Rue finds unsettling. Mei evolves into a Dumeki, sprouting eyes across her body that grant remote viewing. Among the kobolds, their leader takes on a true name, Akita, pledging loyalty by sharing it with Rue despite the danger of curses. Then comes the issue of prisoners. Rue offers them freedom or a chance to stay as provisional members. Some balk at being treated like rookies, especially the stronger ones. Their leader, Zai, challenges Rue for control. Rue indulges them, ordering them all to attack. Even with their orb weapons boosting power, he demolishes them. A sneak attack from a gorilla-like man sends him flying, but Rue rebounds, annihilating him with a single punch. When he spots a half-damp array flirting with Mio, he delivers a brutal lesson, only stopping when Mio intervenes. He heals him afterward, but the half-damp array starts developing a fixation. Rue beats him down again when he confesses love, but in the end, 50 new provisional members join the fold. Rue introduces Emery to some dwarves, but their arrogance rubs her the wrong way. Rue reminds her to tolerate them. Dwarves are master craftsmen. They forge him a new warhammer. Out walking in the woods, Rue reflects on how much has changed, only to run into the Dryad again. She tempts him, and despite his protests, he gives in. Returning to camp covered in kiss marks, he's met with glares and fury from the girls. Still, he comes back with magical seeds, faster growing, more nutritious crops. Farming begins. Meanwhile, some provisional members decide to leave, while others, especially captured nobles, are sent home. Thanks to Mio's brainwashing, they return as spies loyal to Rue. Reports flow in, the human army is withdrawing. The elf chief celebrates, inviting Rue to a grand banquet. Rue, never idle, keeps tinkering. From skeleton bones, he crafts a massive skeletal centipede. The girls recoil, but Rue insists it will work as transport. He plans to use it to take them home, fulfilling his promise to let them choose their path. At the feast, the new members are formally welcomed. Zai worries the centipede will terrify city folk, and the half-dampier warns that nobles will need official guarantors since the empire and kingdom despise demi-humans. Zai offers to sponsor them. Before departing, Rue splits his people into groups to gather intel, warning them, no one dies. As they march toward the city of Triant, Rue looks ahead. He knows the forest was just the beginning. Stronger prey waits beyond. The party finally arrives at the city, and of course the townsfolk immediately panic giant ogre walking in with goblins. They assume it's a massacre waiting to happen. Rue's companions calm the crowd down, explaining the situation until they're given a place to stay. Rue tells the girls straight they're free to leave. He knows they were kidnapped before joining him, and if they want a normal life in the city, he won't stop them. But deep down, he doesn't want them gone. They're too valuable, both as fighters and as family. Rubelia takes him to the Adventurers Guild, where, predictably, he gets attacked the moment he walks in. Rue shrugs, knocks them all out, and waits while Rubelia registers Parabellum. An old man confirms the paperwork, and just like that, they're official. Mio suggests a shopping trip, but Rue insists on gathering intel. Disguised as a human, he wanders the city, hearing whispers everywhere about how dangerous he is. He realizes marketing Parabellum won't be easy when your reputation is walking apocalypse. Then some thugs ambush him. Rue deals with them casually and eats their bodies, noticing they all wore identical rings, likely a criminal syndicate. Later, he sees a boy arguing with mercenaries who refuse to free his hostage even after ransom was paid. The boy threatens violence, but he's overwhelmed and nearly stabbed before Rue intervenes, knocking out the attackers and planting replicants inside them. The boy urges Rue to kill them, but Rue reveals he has a plan. Handing over a card, he tells the boy to contact Parabellum if he needs help, flashing his true form before leaving. That night, the boy visits Rue. He's on a mission to rescue a kidnapped princess. Rue already knows her location. They storm the thugs' hideout, wipe them out, and free the princess. Rue notices documents confirming it was an organized plot. He advises the boy to keep quiet, but when he refuses, Dan hypnotizes him into compliance. The next morning, Rue learns the next goblin generation is on the way. He's relieved, but still worries the human girls will leave. When he asks, they all vow to stay with him. Grateful, he thanks them for their loyalty. Later, the rescued princess visits. She introduces herself as Alice Sternbelt, already aware of Parabellum. She hires them to escort her to the capital. Rue declines. She already has guards, but Alice brushes them off as useless. The boy explains she's offering payment in the form of a gold plate. Rue learns it's worth 1,000,000 gold coins. Too good to pass up. He accepts, though he's baffled by Alice ditching her guards. He worries people might think he kidnapped her, but a contract is a contract. The group travels on the skeleton centipede, though Rue tames a buffalo along the way to make their caravan less suspicious. Alice proves herself trouble wandering into danger out of sheer curiosity. At a turtle snake nest, Rue pulls the creatures out while Alice apologizes and helps prepare the meal. Rue notes her recklessness, but also her willingness to learn. The boy trains with Rue, getting pummeled for his lack of combat experience. Alice joins in, insisting she wants to fight too. Rue sees potential in her determination. They debate their route. The fastest path runs through the mountains, where the dreaded Falaise eagles rule, led by the god-blessed Jade Eagle. Everyone says avoid it. Rue decides to hunt it. They encounter the eagles and Rue wipes out the flock, even serving them for breakfast. Then the Jade Eagle arrives. The fight drags on for an hour. Rue appears to be losing. He even sacrifices an arm. But in classic Rue fashion, he eats it to regenerate, then unleashes his full power. He restrains the Jade Eagle and finishes it. From its body, he finds a soul stone, priceless on the market. Rue eats the eagle anyway, gaining its abilities. Alice asks why he devours every enemy. Rue explains it's not just about power, he takes on their grudges, carrying their regrets. He admits no one in his old life understood him. Alice doesn't argue, she just keeps thinking about his words. The party reaches the village of Maison, panic erupts, but Alice reveals her royal crest, calming everyone. The mayor gives them lodging and even shows off tourist spots for the princess. That evening, the group joins a feast. When a villager gropes Mio, she smashes him, so Rue covers it by starting a drinking competition. He promises 4 silver plates to the winner. The villagers dive in, only to find out ogres can't get drunk. Rue's stunt distracts everyone long enough for Mio's incident to fade from memory. The next day, Rue makes a shocking discovery. The twins are pregnant with his children. Panic sets in. He calls Gabu, who grimly explains ogre babies are born instantly, and human bodies might not survive. Rue races to find a place for them to give birth. Spinel warns they're weakening, they need nutrition. In desperation, Rue tears off his own arm and begs them to eat it. They refuse. He forces the flesh into them with a kiss, telling them he won't let them die. They reach a cave, only to be ambushed by bears. Zai and the others fend them off while Rue prepares a bed. He uses healing magic to sustain the sisters as their bellies swell. Finally, Ji tells him the babies are ready. Rue steels himself. He'll have to perform surgery to deliver his own children. The delivery ends in success. The sisters survive, and Rue, trembling with relief, realizes he's a father now. Both children are born as lords, each with a shining orb. Rue names them Oro and Argent, after the colors of their orbs. Gabu warns him that mixed bloodline marked by horns is hated by society. He suggests cutting them off, calling them abominations. Rue refuses. He vows to love them no matter what. Parabellum, G promises, will raise the children together. The next day, Rue wanders the forest searching for prey and spots a majestic white stag. It looks like a boss monster, but instead of fighting, it drops its antlers and flees. Rue takes them, deciding to save them for his kids. Soon after, he finds adventurers battling a monster named Baylor. They hold their own until Baylor unleashes a massive energy blast. Just as he charges, his ultimate magical arrows pierce him, ripping him apart. Rue approaches the remains, but the adventurers mistake him for an enemy. Their leader radiates power, catching Rue's attention. Instead of killing them, Rue makes a trade, Baylor's corpse in exchange for potions. They accept, though the leader's voice of death whispers that Rue could have destroyed them all. Rue eats Baylor anyway, and back home, gifts the stag's antlers to his children, boosting their stats. When he shares one with Rebellia, she unlocks a new job, Stellameter. Rue realizes the stag is terrifyingly strong, far beyond what he can tame. That night, the system announces his level has maxed. It offers evolution into an Apostle Lord. Rue accepts, gaining new powers, but an error warns more conditions must be met. Meanwhile, Emery and Spinel are pregnant. Rue already knows what to do. He prepares them, and both deliver safely. Emery's son is a high orc, Spinel's daughter is a human, smaller, weaker, but alive. The group rests in purgatory, close to the capital. Alice hides under a disguise, fearing recognition. Rue takes some to the Adventurers Guild. Rubelia finds a training hall where adventurers challenge them. Rue waves it off, letting his companions handle it. They flatten their challengers, and Rue extends an invitation, join Parabellum. Later, Rue shops with the girls, buying a camera to take pictures of his children. That night, he checks in on Parabellum's scattered members. Sato explains, Sei has been making money buying spellbooks with captured criminals. Mei reports on her intel work, but Rue orders her to rest. When he thinks of Kichi, a sudden vision slashes through his mind, himself being cut in half. He panics, unsettled by the omen. Rue diverts course to Griffos to check on Kichi. The detour will delay their trip to the capital, but Alice agrees. Along the way, the group observes the babies. Spinel's child grows slower than the others, likely because she's human. Rue notices Mio wearing the necklace he gave her. She admits she feels unworthy, lagging behind the others, and confesses she wants his child. Rue reassures her. He'll never leave her, whether or not she can bear his children. In Griffos, they find chaos. Adventurers flee a dungeon, babbling about a monstrous minotaur. Rue approaches the mayor, insisting the minotaur is his friend. But the mayor says adventurers plan to kill it. At the dungeon entrance, Kichi and Gobi appear, now stronger, larger. Rue asks about his vision, and Kichi explains. In the dungeon's depths, he fought a boss that copied Rue himself. He lost killed instantly, but the system rewound his death thanks to Rue's abilities. Surviving, he received the blessing of the lightning god, unlocking a terrifying new level of power. Rue's rival and ally has ascended once again. The duel everyone's been waiting for finally happens. Kichi, now a full-blown minotaur, challenges Rue to the arena. Ellis doesn't get why they're fighting, but Mio explains, they're rivals. Kichi wants to prove himself as Rue's equal. Their weapons clash hard. Rue quickly realizes Kichi's raw power might actually surpass his own. He parries and counters, but Kichi detonates in a burst of flames, forcing Rue to retreat. Rue notes the difference. Kichi's strength isn't just raw stats, it's willpower, the determination to finally beat him. Fired up, Rue charges back in, stacking magic with his strikes. Kichi pushes harder, summoning a raging bull and forcing Rue to boost his own stats. With blinding speed, Rue hurls Kichi aside, but Kichi roars back with another fiery wave. Rue tries magic, but Kichi blocks it with his shield and slams down with everything he has. The shockwave rocks the arena, terrifying the onlookers. For a moment, even Kichi realizes he lost control. Rue recovers, praises his strength, and then ends it. With blazing fists, he shatters Kichi's shield and lands the decisive blow. As Kichi hits the dirt, Rue remembers the days they hunted rabbits together, amazed at how far they've both come. After the fight, Kichi and Gobi head home, while Rue and his group reach the royal capital. Alice welcomes them to her palace, treating them to a feast and lavish rooms they can't even sleep in properly. The next morning, she pays Rue with a gold plate and even hands him a special card granting unlimited access to the city. Rue wonders if this is a good idea, but Alice makes it clear she plans to hire him again. Before leaving, Rue scatters replicants throughout the capital as his eyes and ears. On the road back, Mio grows depressed, shaken by Kichi's growth. Rue comforts her, promising he'll never abandon her. To help, he summons a horde of giants for her to train against. Mio throws herself into the fight, tearing through more than 50 before collapsing from exhaustion. That night, she evolves into a vampire lord. Rue is just relieved. She's happy again. They return to the forest only to find their home transformed. Parabellum has flourished in their absence. A farm, a ranch, even the dryad has moved in to help with planting. But the joy is cut short when G runs in. Gabu is dying. Rue rushes to his side. He introduces his children, letting Gabu meet them before the end. Gabu marvels at how far Rue has come, from the baby he once fed to an apostle lord leading an entire village. With a smile, he passes away. The goblins mourn him, laying him to rest at 20 years old. A long life for a goblin. Rue reflects, lifespan doesn't matter. What matters is who you spend it with. To honor Gabu, Rue holds a grand tournament. Parabellum's warriors show off their new skills. Kichi gets his rematch, thanking Rue for pushing him to grow stronger and swearing he'll surpass him. Their clash lasts until nightfall, the air shaking with their blows, but once again, Rue comes out on top. That evening, as the twins serve dinner, Rue looks around. Everyone's gotten stronger. Everyone's still here. And then, the call comes. Alice requesting his services again. Rue tries to refuse, but her offer is too good to ignore. So the next morning, Rue gathers Parabellum. Once again, they set off for the capital, blades sharpened and spirits high. And that's where this episode ends. Rue, father, leader, monster eater extraordinaire, now marching toward his next adventure. This was it for this video. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and comment your favorite part of the story. See you in the next one.